Hey everyone, thank you so much for hanging out today for another round of Prepare to Go There. Happy Friday. It's Future Friday, so anything can happen. We're going to have a great time together. If this is your first time watching, my name is Peter Burchfield. I'm the host of this video podcast. There's already over 100 hours of free self-leadership coaching to help you lead yourself and stay focused on your future. And also, I'm the creator of an online on-demand coaching course called Pioneer the Year. You know, I needed a way to get out of that repeat year cycle where you're just kind of going through random days and then you wake up and say, oh, dang it, I've been writing the same goals down every year. I've been writing down the same frustrations every year. I'm not really phasing in my life from one stage to another. I think I might be going in circles. So then I figured out how to lead myself and stay focused on the future with some insights and strategies that I've been now sharing with other leaders. And it's been an amazing adventure to just see how each of us and all of us are making progress, how we're going the distance, making a difference together. So I will be sharing more about the course later. But today is super important because you and I need to be focusing on our future. Let me ask you a simple question. Are you staying encouraged? Are you staying full of hope and fire for what's possible? And that's why I want to just take a few minutes, about 30 minutes with you. And I want to get you fired up, help you stay focused, because your future deserves your focus today. And so let's dive in talking about how do we actually do self-leadership? What does it really look like practically and tactically? So we're going to be talking about remote work this week. Sarah Joy says, remote work is my jam. Absolutely. Man, I remember when I started remote work, I said, I don't think I'm ever going back. I love people. I love being around other people, but wow, there's something really valuable about getting away so you can get ahead. And that's really what remote work makes possible. We're going to talk about it and some other things, but I want to just kind of bottom line this whole thing and remind you that you really can pioneer this year. You don't have to repeat your failures. You really can pioneer your future, but it's going to take self-leadership. Leading yourself is the first step on your leadership journey. And then it builds the competence and the credibility to lead others and to lead through others. And so we really zoom in on Future Fridays with pioneer planning, life planning. How do you slow down long enough so that way you can stay clear, so you can put your thoughts on paper on purpose, you can get a plan for the next week, for the next month, and then you can go work it. You can make it happen. And so you have to be investing in yourself. You have to be taking yourself seriously. And so I want to invite you to join us as we kind of do a book club together. I'm reading through this amazing project called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. It's an easy, proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. And my mentor gave this to me, and I said, absolutely. I've heard about James Clear. I respect him as a thought leader. Let's do this. So I want to invite you. Let's have some fun. Let's learn. Let's level up. We've got a few days left. If you're just jumping on, read the book with us. I'll get some info in the description below so you can find it and get on board with us. And that's a big part of what we're talking about here. You know, what is the future of work going to look like? What is the future of teams going to look like? We know the future of teams is more distributed. We know the future of work is more connected. But we're going to have to figure out what it looks like practically and tactically to stay focused on the work that actually gets you ahead. And we don't do that by osmosis. We don't do that accidentally. We don't do that just by trying to wing it day to day or week to week. We do that by showing up prepared and by being present for the people and the projects in front of us. And so that's why I wanted to take some time and recap the past week that my wife and I enjoyed. We were out of state for our marriage or wedding anniversary, 4 years married, whoop, whoop, and had a blast. We went to Nashville, Tennessee, wanted to get away and enjoy some new scenery. And then we enjoyed the last few days in another place with some friends, and we got to do some remote work. So if you will look at the last live stream, I was not here. I was in Tennessee, and we were trying to continue all of the projects, the meetings, the things that we do from a different location. Now, I get that remote work is a part of our life, but when you are out of state or you're out of country, you don't have your home field advantage anymore. We didn't have our home base. We didn't have all of the settings and configurations that make our workflow feel more like a workflow than a workout. But I really wanted to lean into this idea of being prepared to do quality work wherever you are. You have to be thinking about what would I need and what would it take to have really quality work even on the go. I think that's going to be a skill set for leaders in the future. I think that's going to be important that we know how to do remote work and how to collaborate with other teams or other people on our team, even when we are traveling, when we're moving from place to place. I think it's fun. You know, you've got this idea of the digital nomad the laptop lifestyle, and that's cool. But really, the motivation behind this is more mission minded. It's more focused on the mission that you have to accomplish, and you're not going to accomplish your calling in your comfort zone. You're not going to accomplish your mission in the four walls of your house or just in the boundaries of your city. You're going to have to put yourself out there, and you're going to have to be willing to travel to other places to help other people, and maybe to find the future on the fringes and on the front lines. And so we've got to be okay with that, and we've got to make sure we know that even when we jolt our routine, even when we get out of our comfort zone, even when the pressure is on, we can still produce results. We can still make work moments happen. We can still focus, and we can still lead ourselves. And so I just want to recap the week that Sarah Joy and I had. And I don't take for granted that my wife is my biggest fan. She hasn't missed a single live stream, not a single episode of Prepare to Go there. I love you, dear. And so if you, Sarah, want to even comment in the chat about hits and misses on your side, because I think she was even more productive than me. And obviously the first few days was more getaway, more vacation mode, but it was also an opportunity to practice. How could we be productive? How could we lead ourselves? How could we stay focused on the future work we're doing, even if we don't have the home field advantage? So when we talk about remote work, it's really just code word for self-leadership, because the secret ingredient to great remote work is the ability to lead yourself. In fact, sometimes we think, oh, well, I can just wake up whenever I want. I can do whatever I want. I have no boss telling me what to do. I have no restrictions. The catch is you are now the boss, and you will live or lose based off of what you put into that day. And so we kind of go in this pendulum swing. We go from hiatus to hustle, and we need to just get grounded, and we need to get a little more confident and competent so that way we can keep providing realistic, reliable results. I know that was an alliteration. So that's why I'm so into this remote work idea, because it really comes down to your self-leadership. Can you set your own schedule? Can you be focused long enough, strong enough to work on the real work, the future work, not the fake work that we talked about last Friday? So we did remote week. We had some time away, and some of the things I wrote down, and then let me get to Sarah's comments as well. She said, I got a lot done, and I could get in the work zone on the go. Since I used the same online apps, it was really easy. Absolutely. That is a really good point. For me, the hits were, number one, I brought all of the equipment to do my regular work. Believe it or not, I have streamlined things and made things very lean, very simple. So this entire battle station, with the exception of this secondary monitor, was able to pack up nicely in my backpack and go with me. Laptop, cords, chargers, microphones, tripods, very minimal, simple equipment setup, but effective. And so having all of that organized, I had it in my backpack, and then I have a smaller kind of like fanny pack. I call it my life pouch, and I put more of the headphones and cords and wires and things in that. And so literally just between those two things, I was able to feel like all of my tools were available, all of the things that I needed to do great work were still around. Another hit that was really good, really successful, was like Sarah Joy mentioned, we did get a lot of focused work in. We didn't have a lot of interruptions or distractions. And that's one thing that I just love about working with my wife is we're super synced, super compatible in the sense that, I mean, when you are married, you really do have a shared life, right? You really are doing life together, and that is a joy. And so anyways, for us, we can kind of be in the same space without like talking to each other all the time, and we can just be productive and work on things and then have these little touch points where we're, doing lunch or sharing coffee or whatever. And so it's a very enjoyable, peaceful work environment for me. And so that was another big win as well. And I hope that some of you would agree to that as well. Okay, but focused work. We had more time. We kind of stripped down the team meetings and some of the in-person touch points that we have to do. And we said, no, let's just get away, get the projects done that matter. And then the other thing that was super valuable is when you get away, you can meet other people. You can have meetups, in-person visits with people that you wouldn't normally see any other way. And so one of my projects was to do some coaching and then to do some strategy with a church plant. And that was a great nonprofit team. And I just believe in, these amazing leaders and just wanted to get behind them and invest in them and see what we could do. So that was literally irreplaceable. It was a really cool experience to say, you know what, maybe we could do this again. Maybe we could go travel, have meetups, and still do our normal remote work week. So those were the things that I loved. I had all the equipment I needed. I was able to focus as much as I needed. And we got to schedule meetups with people we would not be able to see in our normal, like, home life rhythm. Now, time for the misses. What went bad? Where did we tank? Let's see what Sarah Joy says. She said, Miss, I didn't bring my Bluetooth keyboard, which actually slowed me down a lot because I'm so used to it. Yeah. So equipment on her side, she didn't have that thought of, mapped out. My bad. Sorry, dear. I had some misses. I severely had some severe oversights. Let me say it that way. The first one was internet. We assume that it's everywhere and it's always working and it's always amazing, and that is not the case. And one thing that Sarah Joy and I have invested in was a VPN, but really we didn't have the VPN set up and going the way we wanted to. And so I think we could have done better with a VPN, not in terms of reception, but more so just privacy and security, and knowing that when we show up and work, that we're able to stay focused without feeling exposed, I guess, digitally speaking. We did have a pretty random scenario where we got like a kind of like a scam alert somewhere, and so I got personally shook, and I was like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? And Sarah Joy was like, no big deal, I've already resolved it. But I think a VPN, and you just have to realize that when you are working remotely, particularly traveling on the go, new places, you can't take for granted that everything is going to be available or that everything is going to be safe. Yeah. So Sarah Joy's saying Venmo, very sketch. So maybe there was something that went down. I don't remember the full context of that. But you can't assume that everything is going to be accessible or everything is going to be super legit and safe. You have to do a little extra legwork to protect your work, to think smart, and just stay ahead of those things. Another miss was the expectations. I think I expected to get more work done while we were away, not less. And when you factor in any of the commute times, any of the just the coming and going, just the pace of being away is a little bit slower. And so you're not going to have as many concentrated moments for work unless you really schedule it and batch the work in. And so like one of my expectations was, great, we're going to get away. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to knock it out. Guys, I didn't read any of it this week. So I've got some catching up to do tomorrow, but it just didn't happen. And that's okay. But you're going to have to be realistic. If you want to work on the go, you got to be realistic about what you will or will not get done. And you have to set yourself up for success with the right rhythms and the right systems to show up. And then the last miss was workouts. I'll be honest, I just didn't work out this week. I enjoy working out. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting inspired by many of y'all out there, but I just didn't do it. And I wish I could have done something instead of nothing. I literally just should have put in some push-ups, some sit-ups, just put in some cardio, go walk around, the B&B somewhere. I mean, technically we did walk. I mean, we were walking a lot. We were exploring the city. We were hanging out, having fun, but it wasn't like the routine. You know what I mean? And if you're going to just like have a field trip and you're just going to say, oh, I'm going to, check my emails a little bit, then do whatever you want. But I mean, if you're really intentionally set on working remotely different than you've ever done before, pun intended, then you're going to have to get strategic, and then you're going to have to make this work tactically. And it's not just that you bring your home and all of your comforts and all this stuff, wherever you are. You're not expecting more out there than you have at home, but instead you actually have to practice what that lifestyle and what that workflow would be like at home. Like every day you have to work like you're on the go. You have to be practicing it and getting it ironed out. So those are the hits and misses. Just think a little bit more about the security stuff. Don't have unrealistic expectations about what you can or can't get done, and then keep your routines intact because they are actually helping you to be better when it's time to work. All right. So now let's actually get into the idea of remote work a little bit. Remote work doesn't mean that you have less structure now, that you can function just willy-nilly. You just do whatever you want and it's all good and it's going to be amazing. You're going to have amazing content, amazing meetings, and amazing progress. It's not going to happen. You are your own boss now. You have to be the person who leads yourself. You have to set a schedule. You have to get in a workflow. You have to stay focused. You have to put in the work. You have to track how much work you're still doing day by day. It all adds up. It all matters. You also need a reliable workflow. You need to know what is necessary for your workflow to happen. Don't assume that the things you have back home are there. Don't assume that the Wi-Fi is going to be perfect. Don't assume that all the passwords are going to be there. Don't assume that even your environment is going to be optimal. Like there was one time where it got super cold because it gets cold in Tennessee, apparently. And we were kind of like, wait, what is going on over here? I don't know if I can function in this weather. No, we did. But for real, you need to have more structure, not less. The difference is that you're creating that structure. So you have a little bit of a leg up, a little bit of an advantage in terms of just making it more bearable or making it more intentional or even just having it feel more meaningful because you've been embedding and infusing your own reasons into those routines and into those work requirements. So just have some intentionality and make the work more structured, not less. Whenever you are out and about, the scheduling is going to be under fire all the time. It literally took us 6 planes that came and went just to get from one city to another. I don't know what's going on. I got my own opinions about that, but I will save it for later. But it was just not according to plan, right? Delay, cancel, maintenance issues, stuff. I mean, it's inconvenient. Traveling is inconvenient. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. It doesn't have all the filters on. You don't have someone following you around, videoing you, making you look epic. That's not travel. It takes work to show up for other people. It takes effort to be intentional about your relationships and the partnerships that you want to be a part of. You have to put skin in the game. You have to get on the field, and that field may not be in your zip code. You may have to do something extra, do something harder, just to be a part of a moment that really matters. So putting in the work means you have to think more intentionally and safeguard and future-proof and travel-proof your time so that way it doesn't get taken away from you by random events or incompetence in the systems that are trying to help you get where you need to go, right? All right. The good news is that remote work is a skill. You may say, well, I'm not going to travel a lot. I'm not trying to do this as a lifestyle. But remote work is here to stay. Every one of us have an element of technology, an element of disruption, and we're going to have to figure out how do we stay focused? How do we lead ourselves? How do we be productive in this new working environment? And so if you feel kind of out of sorts, out of place, I want to encourage you, you can do this. Like you really can learn this. Remote work is a skill. It's a skill like the last stuff you learned. And you have to level up. You have to learn this. You have to practice this. You have to compare how you did with what you're doing next. So don't get hung up with the stuff that doesn't make sense or the things you don't feel comfortable with. Like even communicating in this format has been a learning curve for me. I enjoy the coaching dynamics. I enjoy the small groups and the masterminds. I enjoy, large group communicating, large group coaching. I love all that stuff. And yet I realize in order to serve, in order to show up where my gifts and where my projects and my passions are needed, I'm going to have to learn a new skill. And that's all it is. Instead of getting fascinated by remote work in terms of the thrills. Remote work is not all thrills, but it is a matter of skills. Do you have skills to do the work well? So I'm just kind of riffing to encourage you and to let you know that you can get better at this. You can learn, and you can learn as you go. You don't have to have it all figured out on day one or year one, but you do have to get started today. You do have to say, I'm going to get a little more organized with my files, with my folders. I'm going to take myself more seriously when I show up in an email or a video meeting. I'm going to be really intentional about my due dates and my timelines. I'm going to make sure that I'm bringing real value into every interaction and every project. And you can do it. You can level up, get the skills, learn the skills, and try to understand the things that make you feel awkward or anxious or even angry. Say, man, this is just a skill. I'm not going to get so worked up. I just need to figure out how to make this work. So counterintuitively, many times the way to move faster in our remote work is to slow down and really understand what's going on. Now, I mentioned it before, but the future of work is connected, right? There's definitely a new normal, and we're going to have to be okay with that kind of connectivity and thinking differently about what we work on, the way we work. So this is more of a, high level, strategic conversation. But this is one I would love to lean into. Maybe we can do it in our next Future Focused Leadership Mastermind. But for you, what that means is remote work is not an excuse to just go lock up in your digital hobbit hole, right? If you're engaging in remote work, it means you're going to be more interactive, more intentional about your working relationships. You have to overcompensate for the lack of that water cooler experience. You're not going to have people just coming and going where you can have those fireside chats. You're not going to have those daily investments of time and support. So you have to be more than ready, more than responsive when it comes to connecting with other people. And you have to realize that the success of your workflows are going to be in the integrations, in the automations, and in the steps you take to make your work better and repeatable over time. The future of teams is distributed. That's another big idea. The future of teams is going to be more distributed. I mean, we're experiencing this even in our own context. Right now, our team, with the work that I do, is in 2 different cities. And we meet on a weekly basis. We're working together on a daily basis. And it's now just a part of life. And that's really cool, but it does require more thought, more work from each and every person. And so now if we can figure this out in a local sense, why couldn't we do this on a bigger scale? So these are questions that we should be teasing out and exploring. And I would just say make every week practice. Make it practice. Like, yeah, we were getting away for vacation, but we said, what if we stayed a few extra days and we actually leaned into something that's possible? Like, I know that other people are already doing this. This is, a way of life for them. But for us, what would it look like to personalize this new pace? So it is possible. And I think I really geek out about this idea. I can't get into it now because we're out of time. But if you are interested in pioneering leadership, remote work, distributed teams, and really expanding the work that you do, let me know in the comments. Let me know after the fact in some of our social media channels. And I would love to hear your thoughts about what's working in your context. If you want to grow in pioneering leadership, you're going to have to embrace remote work, distributed teams, and you're going to have to think differently about the way we rally together and the way we move our projects ahead. Something that's worked really well for us in our distributed teams, I think for you personally, you need a written schedule. You have to have a written schedule for the times you're working and the times you're not working. Otherwise, all that time is blurring together, and then you just have either overwork because you're always on and you're always thinking, or you just have a lot of mixture in your free time and your focused work, and you're not getting a good quality of work out of that. So a written schedule literally is like, old school switch on and off. You've got to like tell yourself, I will be on and working. I will be off and somewhere else or playing or, resting. And then when okay, on and off, then you be more detailed. You get more specific. You say, okay, I know I am working on something for this amount of time. Now, what am I working on? And you have to lead yourself. I know it's challenging. I know you have to push through a lot. There are learning curves. There are frustrations. You got all the, technology, and then you've got to throw in some customer support stuff here and there. You're trying to corral people for these, Zoom meetings. I think everybody's been Zoomed out more times than we can count. But the potential for really exciting stuff is there. And you just have to think about it this way. People are making it work. So why can't you? And get really serious, get really committed to the quality of work that you have and the quality of the work relationships that you're forging through these projects. All right. So have a written schedule for yourself. Get really organized with your files and folders, and then have a series of rally points for your team, so they know whether things are going great or things are running late. You are going to show up. You're going to report. You're going to share status. You're going to encourage each other. You're going to bail each other out. You're going to communicate, stay synced up, whatever that has to look like. There's a series of rally points. And it also helps when you may or may not have that internet access, online, offline. And so you have to build in some offline backups so that way you can keep working, and then you'll find another Wi-Fi zone or another hotspot of sorts where you can upload something. Now, I know that seems a little bit archaic, but it does happen more times than you think. So a written schedule for you, some predetermined rally points for your team, and then you need to be thinking of the contingency. If this is not ideal, if this is not perfect in my work environment, do I have some offline backups that I could either keep working or figure out a way to, to keep things moving? All right, that is it for now. I want to send you off into a future Friday planning session, and what that means is I'm challenging you to take 30 minutes today. 30 minutes today to think about next week. Think about the next 7 days, put it on paper, on purpose, and you need to be working on your future right now. You need to be giving your future, your full focus right now. And that's why I want to help you pioneer this year. Do not tolerate another random day, because random days lead us into the repeat year cycle. And if you're just being led around by every, shiny object or emergency room moment, then you're not going to feel the progress, and you're not going to lead others into the things you promised. So that's why I want to help you learn pioneering life lessons and leadership skills that will help you go against the grain of everyone else who has already quit their goals in February. We haven't even made it to March, and they haven't followed through. I want to help you be different. I want to help you make a difference. And that's why I created the new coaching course. It's called Pioneer the Year. It's all about the insights and the strategies you and I need every single day to lead ourselves, to lead others, and to accomplish the things we set out for in the future frontier. I want to finish with a conversation that I had with my wife, Sarah Joy, at the launch stream, episode 101. And just an encouragement for you if you have not really felt the traction this year in 2022. You're still kind of floundering, and maybe it's because you're struggling with the idea of remote work like we talked about here, or you don't really know how to connect with other people when they're not in the same zip code, or you don't know how to find the team you need to go make your dream a reality. I think the encouragement that Sarah Joy shares is what we all need to hear. So let's check it out, and then I'll get you ready for a great Pioneer planning session. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up this launch stream? This has been amazing, next level. I am already excited about seeing where these live streams go, because I know there's a lot of people out there, and they want to make this year unlike any other. They don't want to hesitate. They don't want to hold back. They want to really go for it, but now they're going to get the strategies and the encouragement to do it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to congratulate you on starting season 2. I know we're kind of joking about being rusty with it, but we've really been head down the past few months, Peter working on his course, and then me helping him just tinker and, figure out the back end of like making it all happen. But there is so much stuff in this Pioneer of the Year course. So I would really encourage you guys to check it out. I've learned so much from it, and I'm not just like putting on the fluff. It's not a course about how to be more productive and just how to fill up your days. It really feels like some coaching sessions, and it's like hours of coaching sessions with plenty of like breakdowns and walkthroughs, and you really feel like you're getting guided along for a strategic path for your life. And I think, everybody, your year doesn't have to start on January 1. Some people are like, well, I still haven't like made my goals for the year, and it's February. So, but people's years really, we're cyclic in different ways. So, some people, their year really ramps up in August, or their year really ramps up in the spring, or I feel like I come alive in the summertime. I don't know. So I kind of, probably because I think of like my birthday, whenever my birthday is, that's when my new year starts. And that's when I kind of make more goals of like what I want my next year to be like, as far as my age. So, you don't have to think like, oh, I'm behind for the year, I can't really take this year planning course because it's February. Like, no, your year starts now, or whenever you're seeing, you can plan for a year in advance. It can really be a rolling year, and there's no better time to start doing that than right now. And this course will help you so much. And if you're leading a team, it really goes into that. So anyway, read up on it, invest, some time, maybe watch the free training or get into some other stuff. But I would say go for this course because it's really, really helpful. And again, it's like investing in yourself, which is something that I wish I would have done sooner.
Beautiful. Hey, thank you, Sarah Joy. All right, super fun. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this round of Prepare to Go There. I want to remind you to lead yourself and stay focused on your future because you really are going places. So prepare to go there. I will see you next Friday.